What's up, everybody? Let's talk Sean O'Malley. And the reason I want to talk about Sean O'Malley is recently the UFC's really been pushing him with the content on YouTube, on social media, and various places. And Sean O'Malley's also been talking a lot of crap on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call that platform. So in this video, I'm going to discuss pretty much what I think is going on with Sean O'Malley, what I like that he's doing, and what I think is maybe a little bit overshooting on the UFC's end. But let's just start off with the tweets. Okay, so first of all, the other day, Sean O'Malley tweets out randomly, "Ilya's my Eddie." All right, and then Ilia Topuria replies by saying, "I offered to fight you, but the UFC told me that you are only good for fighting in teenagers' places because that's your only fan base. Our fight will never happen. After fighting Volk, I will fight Conor, and you will come as a fanboy. After seeing your pay-per-view numbers, the only thing I can offer you is that you fight in the preliminaries of my card." So first of all, Ilia Topuria, boom, he wins that exchange right there. All right, now first of all, if you don't know, Ilia Topuria is at featherweight. He's about to fight Volkanovski for the title. Sean O'Malley is on 135 pounds, so they are not in the same weight class. However, I like what Sean O'Malley is doing here, which we'll get to in just a few moments in the video, but let me finish off the exchange because that's not where it stops. Then Sean O'Malley replies and says, couple things here. First, teenagers' places? No understando. Second, let's make a bet on pay-per-view numbers. 100K cash, whoever's pay-per-view is bigger. If you don't have 100K, that's fine. You can do 4 payments of 25K. Third, Conor doesn't know who you are. That's a pretty good reply by Sean O'Malley. And guys, I've said on my channel before, when it comes to the Twitter X exchanges, Sean O'Malley's pretty damn good. The guy can't talk for shit on the mic, but man, is he good. He's good on Twitter, man. So I give Sean O'Malley that, but that's not where it stops. Ilia Topuria has the last exchange up to this point, and that is, "I can't care less about you, kid. Now the pay-per-view king needs to sleep. Stay safe and save your money. Good night." So this is coming after Ilia Topuria recently said that he's done pretty well in his career earnings thus far in the UFC. But the point of this whole thing, Sean O'Malley is taking a page out of Conor McGregor's playbook, which is, first of all, if you didn't see the UFC on YouTube recently, they put like an end of year in review type of thing with Sean O'Malley. It's very obvious what they're doing with Sean O'Malley, right? I mean, after he knocked out Aljamain Sterling, we've never seen a pay-per-view main event title fight KO get posted to the UFC social media channel. Like, if that doesn't tell you anything, like, that is just one, that they can't stand Aljo, and two, they're clearly pushing Sean O'Malley. They believe that this guy is the next big thing behind Conor McGregor, which I don't necessarily agree with. Not saying it can't happen, but I don't agree with, at least for the time being. But guys, what we have to highlight is Sean is at least trying. And what he's trying to do, he recently called out, Gervonta Tank Davis. He's calling out Ilia Topuria. He's calling out these various names because look what he's doing. Sean O'Malley's in the bantamweight division, but in order to kind of chase that Conor status, you kind of need a big boxing match, right? You got to be able to do that crossover. Okay, that angle's covered by calling out Gervonta Davis. I do believe at one point he got Gervonta to say something back, right? And then now he's calling out Ilia Topuria in assumption, because O'Malley's already said that. You might be like, well, why is he not calling out Volk? He's already said he doesn't want to fight Volk. So if Ilia Topuria wins the belt, is it perhaps something that the UFC is trying to kind of scheme behind the scenes with Sean O'Malley saying, listen, there's a lot of bad matchups at 135 for you, man. There's a lot of bad matchups with Merab Dvalishvili. Corey Sandhagen has good striking, but his grappling's improved. There's some matchups that aren't exactly favorable for Sean O'Malley. I still give Sean a very good shot to win all of those fights because of how good Sean O'Malley is. The problem with Sean, he doesn't have the microphone skills, guys. I mean, on Twitter, X, whatever we want to call that platform these days, a disaster is what I call it. Sean's pretty good on there. But outside of that, I mean, he got dissed by a guy that doesn't speak English on the mic, and Piotr Jan. That was embarrassing, right? I mean, but Sean O'Malley played it off well. He's like, that was good. And I give Sean the props there, right? I mean, Sean O'Malley, he is a bit of a draw at this point. But we can't sit here and Sean's going to act like his pay-per-view numbers coming up for UFC 299, of course those are going to overshadow something that Ilia Topuria is going to do with Alexander Volkanovski at this point, because that UFC 299 card is stacked to the gills. It's not to say that UFC 298 doesn't have some good fights on there, but UFC 299 is loaded to the gills. I've made a video before saying that this has to do with them trying to, when the pay-per-view numbers come out, they want to make Sean O'Malley appear as a huge draw, right? I mean, if it was just Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera and a lousy card like what we see at UFC 297, it's not going to get the same pay-per-view numbers, right? We've heard Aljamain Sterling, we've heard guys come out saying the pay-per-view numbers haven't been particularly good for Sean O'Malley, and it's been disappointing. Well, now's the opportunity for the UFC to try to assist with that. We've seen that with what they did with Israel Adesanya. People were tuning in, but they kind of stopped tuning in because people were complaining about Izzy's fights being boring. So what did they do? They beefed up the cards. They made International Fight Week. They loaded it up with Volkanovski Holloway 3. Like, they do things like that to load the card, because at the end of the day, the card doesn't get the credit for the pay-per-view sales per se, right? It always goes to whoever headlines. So if it's McGregor Diaz, like, that's who gets the credit for the pay-per-views. So at the end of the day, Sean O'Malley, I don't think he's going to be, he says he's going to be the next Conor McGregor basically by the end of 2024. Don't think that's going to happen. Maybe in the future, sure, maybe Sean O'Malley bursts onto the scene as some gigantic superstar, but I just see, we can't compare him to Conor McGregor, guys. I mean, the guy has an unbelievable skill set. There's no doubt about that. Sean O'Malley has a tremendous skill set. He's got some of the best striking in the entire UFC. He's very dynamic. He's got, the jewelry, the funny social media. He checks all the boxes in that department. Where he lacks is the promotional skills of the microphone skills and some of those things which are lacking, which are very important these days in order to kind of sell yourself, right? So that's kind of the piece that's missing. So what he's doing, I think Sean O'Malley understands that. He's a pretty smart guy when it comes to this kind of stuff. He gets the game. Let's call out Ilia Topuria. In the event that Ilia Topuria wins, I can go up to 145 pounds, fight a guy that is known for his boxing, a guy that's known for his striking, that does hit hard and is very aggressive. But that kind of plays into a good matchup for Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley's an excellent striker. And I think Sean O'Malley, in all fairness, could hang with a lot of the guys at 45. Is there a power difference, things like that? Of course. But I do believe Sean would have a speed advantage. And I'm not saying that he would beat Ilia Topuria or some of these guys, but I at least give him a shot. He's a great striker. He is entertaining, his fighting style at least. And at the end of the day, this is the UFC's new project, is Sean O'Malley. I think that they've tried with Khamzat Chimaev. They've done some things. They realize that the days of Conor McGregor are wearing out. Masvidal, Diaz, like, we see their names in the media. Maybe they come back for another fight or two or whatever. But at the end of the day, the UFC needs stars. They need superstars. They need that huge draw that, like, when Conor does anything, Conor takes a shit and everyone's like, oh my God, everyone reports. Like, they're like, Conor McGregor was on the toilet this morning. Like, that's what they want in Sean O'Malley, is every movement that this guy makes, they want it to feel significant and important and draw everyone to the UFC. People are still watching the UFC, but have that overall cash cow. What they like about Sean O'Malley is he covers a unique fan base. He covers that younger generation. I'm not saying he has the Jake Paul, Logan Paul type of fan base, but he does have that younger target that maybe isn't fight fan base per se, but they are fans of Sean O'Malley because they think he's funny, he's younger, he kind of caters to that audience. So overall, I do believe Sean O'Malley's doing some of the right things. We can't fault him there. He's doing the right things. He's calling for a boxing match to have a potential crossover. And make no mistake about it, if Sean O'Malley goes out there and he is able to knock out Marlon Chito Vera, there is a real possibility that Sean O'Malley will go up to 145 pounds and fight Ilia Topuria if he wins the belt. That Ilia Topuria says he's going to fight Conor. I don't think that fight ever happens. But I do believe that it's very likely, if Topuria wins, that we potentially could get an O'Malley-Topuria matchup because of what I said. They're gonna try to keep Sean O'Malley away from Merab Dvalishvili at all costs, and I don't blame him. And I do think Sean O'Malley still has a chance to beat Merab Dvalishvili. People are like, he has no chance. I disagree. He's got good striking. We've seen what Sean O'Malley's able to do, but I do believe at the end of the day, the UFC is planning behind the scenes with Sean O'Malley the workaround and the way to stall this out, right? We saw this blueprint with Conor McGregor. He got that Nate Diaz win back. Beats Eddie Alvarez, becomes double champion, and all those different things. So is it possible that the next layout is Ilia Topuria if he wins the belt off Volkanovski, which I kind of lead towards Volk, but I will say that Ilia has a very good shot. Say Ilia Topuria wins. They make his first title defense against Sean O'Malley coming up, for which would be kind of a super fight at this point. I mean, I shouldn't say super fight, but would be a big fight, especially if Ilya is able to be the first guy to dethrone Volk at 145. Then you get Sean O'Malley, who goes out there, say he somehow beats Ilya Topuria. Now we have that boxing match on the horizon with Gervonta Tank Davis. And now, or some sort of big name boxer, because now we have the same McGregor blueprint all over again. O'Malley gets the 135-pound belt, goes out there, beats the champion at a weight class above him. Now they got the super fight in the boxing match, which absolutely, if Sean O'Malley goes out there, gets a second belt, has a big boxing match lined up, don't you guys think that the UFC is going to back him on that? I do. Absolutely. I think Sean O'Malley, anything that he wants to do at this point, the UFC is going to back. They're going to do whatever they can to build Sean O'Malley, turn him into this next gigantic star in their sport and in their organization. I do believe that that is the blueprint. That is the game plan. And I believe that a lot of that is also going to depend on the matchup between Henry Cejudo and Merab Dvalishvili. Guys, I said before, I believe Henry Cejudo was sent to be the best chance to beat Merab Dvalishvili. It's not to say a guy like Corey Sandhagen and some of these other guys aren't going to beat Merab. Merab is a terrifying matchup. He's a horrible matchup for everybody. And Sean O'Malley does have a chance, to snipe Merab Dvalishvili. But they send Henry Cejudo down. He's got the Olympic gold medal in his back pocket with the wrestling, former double champ. I think they look at Henry as a guy who's a better striker than Merab. Hopefully he can defend the takedowns and be the guy to get Merab out of there, because they are looking for any excuse to get Merab out of that title fight conversation. Guys, make no mistake about this. This is all about protecting Sean O'Malley, doing what they can to build Sean O'Malley, to turn him into that next Conor McGregor. Like, comment below your opinion on this. Drop your takes below. I want to hear what you all think. Am I on the right track? Am I off? Subscribe to the channel. Help your boy out. I appreciate you all. I will see you in the next one.